Today we're going to learn how to construct the circumcenter of the triangle. Now the circumcenter is the point where all three perpendicular bisectors cross. So we're going to construct a perpendicular bisector for each of the three sides. Let's start with the bottom side. There are two endpoints of the bottom line segment. Start by putting your compass center on one of those endpoints and pick a compass size that's over half of the distance between the two ends. I'm going to pick 60. Make an arc at the top, an arc at the bottom. Now remember which number you just used, because you now have to spin the compass the other direction and put the center on the other endpoint. Use the same number that you used before to make an arc that crosses at the bottom and the top. Where those two arcs cross will be where you make your line segment. Don't forget to put arrows on the end. Since it's a perpendicular bisector, you should mark it 90 degrees, and you should mark the congruency on the left and the right side. Now we're going to repeat this pattern 2 more times. We already did the bottom, so let's do the left side. So now instead of putting the compass on these two endpoints, we're going to put the compass on these two endpoints. I'll start here. Now you want to pick a compass size that's half the distance from this endpoint to this endpoint. It might be 60 from before. It might be a smaller number or a larger number. For me, I'm going to pick 50. And you put your arc at the bottom and the top. Don't forget which number you used, because we now have to spin the compass around to the other endpoint and use the same number as before. Where they cross, you can make your line. Don't forget your arrows, your 90-degree mark, and your congruency symbols. Now please note that the congruency symbols here have 2 tick marks, where the congruency symbol in red has 1. That's because although these two are the same length and these two are the same length, these two don't necessarily have to be the same length. Now we repeat the pattern 1 more time, but let's use the top right side. So we're going to put the center of the compass here and then here. Now again, the number you pick might be the same as before, it might be different, but it has to be at least half of the distance from here to here. So I'm going to pick 70. Draw your arc on one side and then go over to the other. Now if it happens that you don't draw enough of the arc the first time, you can always go back and draw more. The more of these you do, the better you'll get at predicting how much of the arc you need. Now where the arcs cross again are the points you should use to draw your line. Don't forget your arrows on the end, the 90-degree mark to show that it's perpendicular, and this time the congruency symbols should have 3 tick marks to show that this is a different side than the previous 2. Now if you've done it correctly, all 3 of your lines should cross at one point, and that point is called the circumcenter. The nice thing about the circumcenter is that it is equidistant from the 3 vertices of the triangle. That is, the distance from here to here is the same as the distance from here to here and here to here. It's equal distance to the 3 vertices, which means we can put the center of our compass on the circumcenter. If your teacher asks for the circumscribed circle, move your compass back and forth until you figure out which number on your compass matches up over the vertex of your triangle. It doesn't matter which vertex you use, because they should all be the same. It looks to me like mine's 58. So you can put your compass there and spin it around, and you should get a circle that goes through all three vertices of your triangle. If your circle does go through all three vertices, you have a wonderful picture. If you're off by just a little bit, it's probably due to one of these lines being off just a little bit. If your three lines didn't cross at exactly the same point, then one of them needs to be fixed. It's a way to check. Some teachers only require you to draw 2 lines, but the third line is a good way to make sure that you've actually got the correct lines. They should all cross at the exact same place. And here we have the triangle with 3 perpendicular bisectors. Those are the 3 lines, the red, blue, and black. The 3 lines all cross at the circumcenter, and the circle going through the vertices is called the circumscribed circle.